On the agenda tonight, we're going to be taking a look at the most important technique on the guitar of all time ever in the universe, but you could argue the most important technique for whichever instrument you play. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So this was initially going to be a shorts video for YouTube, but then I realized I'm never going to be able to say everything in a minute. So I'm going to do a video on it now, however long it lasts. But when we're playing the guitar or playing any instrument, you want it to sound like a great singer. And throughout the analysis videos that we've done on the channel, you will know that the very, very popular singers all have one thing in common, and that is a nice, even, controlled vibrato, or vibrato, if you're over in the USA. So we want to apply that to our guitar playing. So we'll put this into a nice easy key of E, and I'm going to play the E on the 9th fret of the G, so this is the note that we're going to be playing. Now, when you play the note, when you add vibrato, you want to try and keep it nice and smooth and even. So what's happening there is I'm applying a rock blues vibrato, so I'm bending the string up, and this is the other difference with singing, is that singers can go above the note or below the note. So if we're hitting our E and we're going, when we apply a vibrato like that, what's happening is I'm going and going down a semitone, and then keeping that even. Whereas on guitar, we can't go down unless you use your whammy bar. We have to push up like that, which brings me to another interesting point. Just thinking about it, a lot of players do that for their vibrato. So the peaks and the troughs aren't even. They are accelerating to the top of the bend effectively. So it's like na, like that, rather than keeping it smooth so that it's perfectly even. And you know, with vibrato you can get into real detail. If we're going, yeah, if you play a line in the end like that, you might as well have not have played that first line, because everyone's now thinking about, oh, that sounded awkward, that vibrato, because nobody sings with that kind of vibrato, or if they do, they haven't sold a lot of records. So you want to make sure that you've got this nice even vibrato, and you're blending this bend and moving all the time rather than kind of just pushing up. To begin with, to get the idea, you might have to do that. And then it's a case of then smoothing that out. But that's what vibrato is. And you can apply that to your singing as well if you want to, but have that in mind that you are going above the note. So there's a world of difference between a beginner just playing a straight note like that, and then somebody else just playing a nice, even, smooth vibrato. And you want to be able to do that as well. Have a faster one, have a slower one, even slower. You know, you want to be in total control, and then as you move on, you want to be able to do the same thing with your bends at the top of the bends, which is going to take a bit more practice, but you want your vibrato to be consistent across all of the notes, all of your bends, because that's what a singer does. They don't have a particular note where they now can't vibrato. They do it all the time. So if they are going up to a note and sliding up to it, they still apply the same vibrato at the top of the bend. So you've got to make sure you get this technique down. And ideally, you know, if you want to be able to cover every kind of vibrato and every speed, then practice doing every speed and control it. Having control, that's the most important thing, because that's what great singers have, a total control of this vibrato. You want to have that with your guitar playing, because if you're not controlling it, it's going to sound out of control. As soon as it sounds out of control, people are going to feel awkward about it, whereas you want them to just listen to your guitar singing rather than feeling awkward about your technique. So you will get the most bang for your buck with vibrato, because you don't need to be able to play fast. You can play really slowly, but as long as you apply vibrato on some of these notes, then it's going to sing, and you can play as slowly as you want to and it's still going to sound great. Just to throw in here as well that you will need to work at your technique to throw together faster passages, because you'll need that to make an interesting solo, to make a journey of a solo, and just to have some light and shade in there. But when we relate it to singing, I mean, how many times do you hear a singer throw together a really fast vocal passage? They don't. You know, if we're relating this to guitar and kind of doing a little bit of alternate picking, doing that, you think, well, I've never heard a singer do that. I mean, it's physically impossible to get your vocal cords to actually adjust and hit notes this quickly. So you can say the relevance of playing really fast on the guitar for extended periods of time, I mean, it's diminished when you relate it to singing and you want your guitar to sing. So by all means, you can throw in faster passages and it sounds great. But the same thing applies that if I'm throwing together a faster passage on the guitar and, say for example, and then I end like that and have a weird, inconsistent vibrato, it ruins all of the work that you've spent on playing something fast and playing something clean, because nobody remembers the run. They think, oh, what was that at the end? And that takes the focus. When you're listening to a great lead guitarist, they'll play slower passages, faster passages, but there'll always be that consistent vibrato just dashed in there, so the guitar's constantly singing. You constantly need that reminder that it's a voice. So, if you haven't worked at sweep picking, alternate picking, throwing together runs that are really fast, it doesn't matter. And doing that, it is literally a case of sitting down for hours on end every day and just playing the same notes over and over and over again. It's a subconscious thing. You're not consciously coming up with those notes as you're thinking of them. You are literally throwing them all together, like I did with that little run. Yeah, that's all muscle memory. I'm not thinking about any of those notes. I'm just going through something that I have worked at, just gradually building up the speed. But, it takes patience, but you'll need a little bit of speed. You don't necessarily have to play super fast to keep things really interesting, but vibrato will even make slow passages really interesting. Even if you're just sliding up your pentatonic shapes, the extended pentatonic there, adding a wobble of vibrato. And again, you want to make sure that you can vibrato on each of your fingers, so no matter where you land, first finger, third finger, second finger, little finger. And with the little finger, a lot of people do struggle, but remember that you can place your stronger fingers underneath that little finger and effectively vibrato with that finger, but because this is fretted, you'll hear the wobble of the note that the little finger's on. So just a little tip there, because some people that kind of approach it like that and then they, can't get the vibrato there, slide off the string because they haven't got the strength to push it onto the fretboard. Just get control of it with the other fingers underneath. I think I tend to just kind of rest my first finger there for, a little bit of stability. But yeah, make sure that you can vibrato evenly, consistently with every finger, and it'll improve your guitar playing and the sound of your guitar just as a voice, infinitely. So if you do play the guitar, if you're just starting to experiment with lead playing, or if you've been playing for a while, hopefully this has inspired you to really get that vibrato nailed down, under control, consistent, so that your voice through the guitar is consistent as well. Because we want people to be focusing on the sound of your playing, not questioning your technique at playing. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!